Oh, here I am. All right, there. Okay, so I left off last time trying to get serialization that it does in JSON or in YAML to be done in binary. And there's some scriptable objects that are just holding on to way too much data. 500,000, over 500,000 pieces of information. And let's see, where the rest of that go? No, that one can go. That one can go. Content live. All right. And so I started working on converting the data that I'm storing into a binary format. And so it saves it directly to a file. All right, so I've got a couple sections that I need to do next. I was able to prove out that I could convert the data over. The next thing that I need to do is actually get it to do that through a resource file. Select stream, and over here, go to that, refresh that one, which it doesn't actually, whatever. Okay. I need to start taking more of a look at OBS plugins for YouTube streaming, things to help out with the channel. All right, so inside of this, right now that's the inspector for what item? Okay, the car traffic procedural. And now I need a file name where it's storing the data because the data it was holding on to is no longer stored inside of here. So for now, I'm going to give it a file name and we're going to call it, I guess it'll be the same name. In that case, I don't technically need a file name. I'll let the name of the file be the file name. It's being stored in resources anyway. Okay. Yeah, whatever. I could specify it, then I could change it, move it, and it doesn't matter. I can set exactly what the name is supposed to be. Okay, so car traffic procedural. Awesome. Distance from surface, and then there's the baked data. So I'm not working with the baked data yet. Now, it would be good to get a way to test the size of this and how long it takes to serialize it. Oh, I will use the YAML tools that are built into it. In this case, if I select the bake data, this one should have like 500 or 500,000 plus in it. But yeah, you can see that that took a while for it to deal with. And that's only 330,000. I don't think I've run a bake since I did the latest. I guess not. All right, but I don't want the nodes stored in here. I don't want the nodes stored in the other one. Let's go back to procedural. Okay, over here we've got, oh, no, wrong thing. Traffic designer data. All right, now inside of here, we've got the write file. This is where we convert it to bytes. Oh, this was a test. I produced test data, experimented with that to make sure that I could build up one of these and the raw data would come back out. And that worked. So right now, the to and from data actually works. All right, so write file. We don't need to mark anything for that. So to write file, we basically take 2 bytes and we're going to store it to, what was it, the asset, text asset. All right, so over here, let's go to this one. We've got a vector through, we've got the bytes. I need the bytes to come into here. So var bytes equals 2 bytes. All right, that converts everything over. Now I want to actually write the file out. How do we get the text asset? Text asset from resources. I need to do a search. I forgot the way to do that one. Unity text asset from resources. Okay. Text asset, my text asset equals resources dot load, and we just pass it in like that. Okay. Resources dot load, except in this case, I want to write the file. So let's say that we don't have the file. I said that the wrong direction. Okay. Unity C# save bytes byte array to text asset resources. Text asset bytes, yes, that's what I'm looking for, but not. All right, so what is it suggesting in here? Debug.look. Okay. No, I'm going to trust that there is a resources folder here. I already put one in anyway. All right, file, path combine. Yeah, same name, whatever. Okay, file.write all bytes. Really? Asset database.refresh. Is that it? I suppose I'm. Okay, this doesn't seem right. Okay, we got that one. We got string. What are we doing? Text asset. Okay, create this. Create new object, whatever. Native array, get data. Okay. How about write to a file and read from a file? All right, one more search. Unity asset, Unity C# save text asset. The problem is that I want to make sure that I'm doing this at both runtime and at design time. And I'm pretty sure I use the resource folder, but I'm not positive about the local path that I set. I guess it's a resource folder from the application. If I were to run a build, then I should get a build that will include the resources folder in it if I've got any files there, or that might get compressed. It shouldn't get compressed if there's a chance that I'm going to be overwriting it, but no, I guess it should be compressed, like into the data file, the one file the file that contains all the rest of the assets. All right, so how do I create one? Okay, unknown. Well, oh wow, this is, why am I looking at 5.3? Okay, text asset, got it, yes. So reference text asset. Hey, can I just create a path to it? Let's do that. Let's try this. Okay, so we got 2 bytes over here. I'm going to create, I've got a string name in here. So we got file name. What if I were just to say public text asset file? And then I can just generate it? I've never generated a text asset like this before. This is something that I find myself not having to do very much. All right, so file, what? No. File, this dot file, make sure I get the right one, dot create, dot bytes, Okay, so I've got the array. Can I just set the bytes this way? Or do I have to copy it? It's a get. Okay. Data size. Is it getter setter? No. Okay, so how do I write the bytes? Yeah, that's get data. How do I set? Okay, that does not work for me. I need to set the data. Unity, C sharp. Oh, what do we got? We load that, so that's how we read it. In this case, okay, we actually have to create the path to assets, resources, text. Okay, I feel like there's a little bit too much to dig out at the moment, so I'm going to try this one. Unity, C sharp. I have a scriptable object, and it holds too much data. Array of 500k vector threes. Actually, it's double that because it's the vector 3 for the position and the normal. So that's with 1m vector 3s. Serialization takes too long. I need to store this to vector. I need to store this to binary. I have the data able to be saved and reloaded from binary and preventing the arrays from serialization. I'm planning to load this into a text asset so that I know it will store it and push it with a build. I do not need to alter it at runtime, but I will be altering it at design time. How can I just create an empty text asset in the resources, create a reference on my script, on my scriptable, to store to that text asset, and then write all the bytes to it. Also, how do I read it back out at runtime? All right, let that one go for a second. Check messages. Hello, whoever jumped online. Okay, yes, you can definitely use a text asset to store a large binary. Okay. Yes, okay. As a bytes file in the resources. Text assets object, they're most convenient for binary because you can load them with text resource.load. Yes, yeah, okay, got that. So inside of here, okay, we've got data inside of this load data, deserialize. Okay. No, I want the writing data. Show me the writing. All right, so in this one, It does not show a reference to a text asset. So where is it getting the data from? We write the data? What? Vector data writer. Okay, so whatever. We got like a million items there. This is it? Really? We just do a file dot write all bytes. Not opposed to that, but that just, then I don't actually use like a text asset. Feels like an incomplete use of Unity where it would be reasonable to use Unity. Okay, whatever. I'll store the path. String path equals. So putting that one in there. It's assets slash resources slash, and then inside of here I need delete plus, and this one was file name, plus dot bytes. Okay, so we got a path to write it to. Next, we need to write all the data. So now we're going to go with file system.io.file.write all bytes. And inside of here, we need the path, comma, and then the bytes. All right, bytes. All right, what have we got here? Resources, bytes, file system. Theoretically, that one should work. Oh, yeah, it had the asset database.refresh. Asset database.refresh. Okay, so theoretically this should work, and then I should be able to see the file in the system. Once I have it in there, then I technically don't need to recreate it. I can copy and paste these things. That's fine. All right, let's go back into Unity. They should have some data in here. I guess I should put a little bit more in. Reloading the domain takes a long time because of the size of the existing scriptables. You know what? I can wipe out the data as is because I have to rebake it all anyway. Running back end. What does that even mean? Compiling scripts, running back end. I wish we had more clarity into what these statements were. Hold on, I'm doing more stuff. I stopped doing the other stuff, but now I'm still doing other stuff. Okay, now let's get back into here. What is this one? We need the traffic. That's down here in this stuff. Okay, this one. Take your time. Just wipe out the data. Come on. All right, next. Okay, we've got 330,000 items. I don't need that many. Let's do 500. Okay, that should just wipe out the majority of the data and then resave it with only 500 being serialized. I don't know exactly where those points will be. I think they're actually pretty close to where I start out. Also, the framework that I have for all of the world going on inside of the game, I'm basically just using 6 giant meshes. No, well, it's not. There's actually, it's an FBX file and it's broken into, I've pulled in one mesh, but it actually is broken into a bunch of child meshes. But it still makes, okay, so I just reduce this to only 500 nodes from 329,000, and I have run out of memory. Why do you need... quit? Unity crashed. Oh yeah, look at the memory. Okay. I remember getting one of my laptops and thinking, 16 gigs. This is going to be plenty for, this is all that I need for most of the projects that I'm working on. That has changed. Okay, I still want to get rid of that. How much memory are we freeing up? I don't need the log information. That can go away. Oh, huge drop. Okay. So we went from, what is that? Oh, it won't show me. Like, I wish when you moved your mouse over, it would actually show you how much that number meant. So I'm guessing that's something like 60 gigs, that it was using 60 gigs of actual RAM. And then down here, we've now moved down to 21. So almost 30 gigs loss. For all I know, that could have been 21 or 61.8. Let's go start the project again and watch you be unhappy. Scene backups from a previous scene have been detected. No, don't worry about it. Just take whatever. It was saved long beforehand, but there may have been some minor edit. I don't get this. This is one of the things that bothers me in Unity, and I believe I've seen this in Unreal as well. Minor changes that happen to shader values or colors going into materials, sometimes into the scripts, into the components, just basically changing a minor value to something you never touched. Like it's like it reserializes it, and when it does it, it loses the idea of what it was. We have an error. What is this error? Big traffic, line 133. There. What's wrong with this? On after deserialize. If the value never had anything set, then it'll be null. S nodes right now. S nodes is hide in inspector. Okay, yeah. What was S node, and was I doing anything with it? Yeah, I was. So on before deserialize, we set the value. Now in this one, we're saying that it's hidden in inspector, so nothing happens with it anymore. We end up getting, what was it, null ref? Okay, so it wasn't a real problem. Clear, it wasn't a compilation issue. Next, what have we got down here? Let's move this one down. Let's go find our data and see what is happening with it. Data doco runtime. Okay, and inside of this one, procedural has what? Nothing. All right, baked procedural. Let's see if this kills all of our RAM usage. Okay, a subtle rise in RAM here. Hey, is there an option to stay on top? Alt. There used to be an option, like it would just stay on top all the time. This is the settings button? What does that actually do? Oh, okay, got it. No, but I want to see the settings. Thank you. Always on top. Processes, performance. All right. We're going to keep RAM in here. All right, next over here, we've got nodes. We got 329,000. I am not expanding it. Fine. Let's just go to 0. If I set it to 0, I'm getting a huge spike in memory. Or I'm getting a sizable spike in memory. Like this is gigs we're talking about. So 64 gigs all the way across to the top. This is the halfway point. That's 1/16th, basically. 1/16 on 64 gigs is 4 gigs of RAM. We have now gone, we're still spiking upwards. Why? I've literally just gotten rid of a huge amount of data. Undo state. It's trying to add all of this to the undo state. That's got to be it. The undo state is based on count, not size, I think. No. That doesn't seem reasonable. There's way too many big things in this that could be cleared out. Okay, it made it, and then it's tanking back down, probably end up lower than it was to begin with, which I don't know what it was to begin with because I can't check numbers in here. I need a better task manager. Improved task manager for Windows. I don't want a better task manager for Windows. Oh, it's spiked back up again. To erase data. Should I just wipe this one out? Oh, well, yeah, okay. Wait, if it's peaked all the way at the top here, why is it saying that there's an available 5.5 gigs? Unity, what are you doing? Should I just kill Unity right now? It's dropping back down, like it's actively changing. So if I go over to here and we go to memory usage, 21 gigs. That's all? 20 gigs? Is this relying on something else? No. Back to performance. There's still the rest of the apps in the system. Okay, this suggests that it is starting to end what it was doing. But why did it take 2.5? It's going back up again? Okay, we got to take a different route to this. Unity, I'm sorry, I'm just going to kill you. Goodbye. End task. And Taro Adun. All right, back to Vigilante. This time, I'm not going to change the data. I'm just going to delete the file. That doesn't get an undo option in Unity. I used to think it was kind of ridiculous that it didn't get an undo option, but now realizing the expense to undo. Actually, no, they could still undo a file delete because like Windows automatically has a recovery. And so as long as there's as long as it's recycled, you can restore it. And so Unity could attach to that, but that's extra work on its side. And I don't think it's that important. All right, so now let's go Vigilante 41, data, runtime, all of the data, select it all. Come on. What do you got on performance? Okay, they are all selected. Select that and delete. Yes. Instant wipeout. Okay, how's my memory? Is Unity responsive? Unity is responsive. Excellent. Okay, so I have recovered this. Create, and now over here, I don't want a font. Ooh, this is so much faster now. Things are responding. Oh, great. Okay. Now, I still don't have the binary data in this one. So run, create, and in this one, Vigilante, designer traffic data. All right. And we're going to call this one procedural traffic. And then another one, create baked traffic, procedural, lots of things it's unhappy with. procedural traffic baked. Okay, now inside of this one, let's make the reference. Now it also wants a reference to the text asset, which should be down here in resources. I don't have anything in resources. That's right. I'm not actually using the resources folder. Can I create a text asset? Font asset? How about a text asset? No, no. I want to create a text asset that I can save. Do they have one built in? Okay, well, whatever. We'll come back to that. It's supposed to produce the file with this one, but I'm going to need the full path in here. So that's resources/data. We're going to add those ones into my code. Now, instead of this one that wants the reference to text asset, but we're not using it. All right. This has a radius of 6, 0 nodes, empty, empty. Traffic. Before it's baked. I haven't modified baked. Okay, now let's go modify this code again. I can start working with this a lot faster. I no longer need this one to be always on top. Let's clear that out and get rid of it. All right, so now when I run this is supposed to take whatever data I have in here and store it to asset resources. We're going to make this one underscore vigilante 41 / resources / data / okay. That should be the whole thing. Yeah, okay, good. Next, what data am I storing? Nothing right now, but it should create the file. Yeah, it should be at least, what was it, 16 bytes long? Excuse me. Because it's got the header information that's showing up inside it. Let's drop this one back down in size. Clear that. And do I have a better view? Yes, I do. Save all that. Next, we got the UI. There. All right, inside of that was Traffic Designer. What are you so unhappy about? Null reference on Traffic Designer because it's trying to draw something, but something doesn't exist, right? Traffic Designer is trying to get the traffic data. So something within here, within settings, is not set. Now, if I expand that out, where's my settings? Yep, there's nothing set. So we'll set it to the procedural data. Same thing we're going to do over here, procedural data. That should clear out all these errors. Make sure the scene is saved. Good. Errors are done. Those errors are done. Key held down, escape. All right. So we've got the designer data max count. So in this one, let's go with 100. And now let's prepare the data. Okay, we've prepared the data. Now let's bake the data as well. Okay, so we've done both of those. And now we've got the base of that tower in place again. All right, yes, I know the draw functions are unhappy. Use this package gizmos callbacks instead. All right, well, whatever. We got this one right now. Okay, fine. Let's take a quick look into what the callbacks are. Because that one is also kind of bothersome. Unity, A-line. Okay, outline occurs because it's called inside the on-draw gizmos. You must use dedicated gizmos callbacks instead. What is that? Corrected usage with A-line. So inside of here, we got on enable. Oh, it's just passing an additional thing onto the draw gizmos. Okay, and that gets the couple of glitches that I see in there. All right, let's try that out. This one was inside of Traffic Designer. Let's go there. All right, so double check the code. That was in Traffic Designer, right? A-line, 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 Traffic Designer. Okay, and that's in draw update, which is called by on draw gizmo selected. All right, we will check that one, but we need to do it in awake. Where's my awake function? Settings data awake, and now A-line gizmos. Drawing. Dot A-line render pass feature. Okay, so thank you AI, but no thank you. Okay, get started with A-line. Control F. What was the function it was trying to say it was? It was called like on draw gizmos. Let's see if that just exists in here. On draw gizmos. Okay, there we go. On draw gizmos. Draw gizmos. With Unity's built-in gizmo system, you can draw everything in the on draw gizmos method. Oh, okay, yes. That's the only call to it ever. Do we have something that sets anything in the awake function or start function? No. No. Update. Okay. Drawing. Advanced usage. Styling, drawing utilities, drawing scopes. Okay. Not concerned. Deprecated list. Control F. Gizmos. Not existent. Yeah, I don't see an existing command for this or an existing line in its documentation. I'm going to ignore that one because that's not my problem for now. I just don't like all these errors showing up inside of here. Wait, do I have a bug in there? I do. Which is where Traffic Designer, that line right there. I don't need the traffic. I do need the Traffic Designer for, is that what I'm using for this? I produce the data, I bake the data. Oh, I clicked both buttons. Does that mean I actually have data now? If I go over to resources, I do not. How about if I actually go into the file system for it? Data. Nothing exists there. All right. So let's go back, try those commands once more. So inside of, oh, there's no file name. It wouldn't create anything. What do we call this one? Match the name. All right. So we got the procedural traffic. It's named procedural traffic. And now over in the traffic designer code, I'm going to click run. Okay. Now bake. All right. Now, did it generate the file? It did not. No file was generated, but it seems to think it's happy. Wait a minute. My code, the write function. Got it. This is not handled here. This one is handled here. Do I have a spot that tries to save this? We've got the file name. Nothing. I don't think anything actually tries to save this file. Okay, so file update, draw update. That gives us a data. This is traffic designer. No. Ref list, car traffic, race environment. Get rid of the save game, allocator, car truck, truck connector, truck traffic system, start menu, mechanic menu, FX, traffic system, bake traffic, we'll leave that one there. Procedural traffic designer, we'll leave that one there. Unsafe list, native list, designer traffic data, right there. So write file, what calls you? On validate. On validate if write to file. Where is write to file? Non-serialized. I have no way to test it right now. Okay, let's try this again. I wonder why I put that as non-serialized. Anyway, so I've got the data in there, and right now there should be no data actually stored in this. All that data is in the debug, which might not even show up at all since it's not serialized. Correct. All right. So let's try this one again. We go back into Traffic Designer, and we need to tell it to try. All right. And then bake. Oh, actually, the bake data should get some data into it. Exit debug. And bake. All right, so let's take a look at the bake data. We do have data, 102 items. That sounds right. Okay. It's a multiple of 3, and that it has to do, and it does this, it saves in groups of 3. Wrong live update. There. So it saves in groups of 3, so we get 102. Okay, so we are getting data. The actual data is passing through the bake system with no serialization. However, the designer, that means that any time that the system reloads, we lose all the designer data. Okay, so now back into, where's my raw data option? This one, write to file. That's what's supposed to create the data in the resources. 3.2K. That's for 102 notepad, not notepad, calc. All right, 102 times 12 plus 16. That's 1240. Wait, what did I? So 12 bytes for a vector 3 times 102. Why is that coming up with a 3K file? Is there something more I'm saving? Okay, whatever the case, we have the file saved. I am curious as to why the data size is so far off. However, oh, wait, it's not just that. It's 2 separate nodes of data that are being stored in it. So this is storing, right over here, right to the file. It saves the nodes, and it saves the index map. So it gets index map data. It's going to be higher. So we would have doubled the 1200. So we would have gotten like 2400. And then we would have gotten basically these 2 bytes, which I don't need the C in there. Which also means that I have 0 need for the explicit layout. Whatever, that's fine. Okay, but that's reasonable for what I was expecting in the data. That does the write file. Now I need something to manually trigger the write file command. So inside of there, what is this? I'll make it public to begin with, and that'll be part of the call that we execute anytime that we make changes to it. So when we are pushing data into this, which is going to be the procedural designer system, I need that information to get stored. So inside of here, we take the traffic design data and we clear it. So we wipe everything out. We mark what's used in here. Traffic design, just double checking. Traffic design is the designer traffic data. Perfect. Next, we take that data, we're running it through here, we've cleared it, now we're adding all of that data back. By the time we get to the end of this, we need to mark the actual item. We also don't need to set anything dirty with it because nothing actually changes as far as Unity's system needs to serialize and know about. However, inside of this one, we do need to save it, so we're going to say traffic data, traffic design dot save. What is it? That's this one, traffic design, designer traffic data. And then, oh, write file. It's not save file, it's write file. Dot write file. And in that case, I don't care what it is. I don't know what it is. Okay, that did it. And I'm wondering if when I try to call it before, if a lot of the time it takes, no, this was taking like 16 minutes to execute. Let's do a gradual increase on this and see what happens. Because right now I'm not doing any of the merging, which was more of the expensive area. So in this one, we're just doing triangles. I think that one might only take 2 or 3 minutes if we tried to run the whole thing. So let's go back inside of here and take a look at the data from in here. What do we have? Runtime, traffic designer, that one, Control Shift B. I have no data. It doesn't think that the data is there. Oh, that's interesting. It doesn't think that the data is there. Fine. Let's run this again. Yeah, it did lose the data. Control Shift B. So we are inside of the editor now. If I select something else, now Control Shift B, I've got that back up. However, that data was lost. So every time I come back in here, this data is lost. And that means that any system that's going to try using it needs to tell it to deserialize. Basically, if there's no data in it at the time, it should deserialize the data. In that case, I'm going to put in a command on here. So we've got the try bake command. We need this on traffic designer. Let's see, for this stuff, has it loaded? I'm going to create a private Boolean. Private bool has it loaded equals false. So anytime it deserializes, it reconstructs this object. This value is going to be loaded equals false. So now we're going to take add node, etc., clear. I need something to decide to read the file. How do I tell it to read the file? Right now, I think I'm going directly against the nodes and the mappings that are inside of this. In that case, I need a function, public void try load. If has it loaded, return. So we skip it right away. Otherwise, we are going to do has it loaded equals false. Next, so we're getting rid of the data. We're marking that it's not there, or that we're not going to try it again in the future. And now we're going to say read file. I can also get rid of the test data that was in here. I don't need the Boolean values anymore. Those ones can go away. There's no more onValidate necessary here. Now, read file needs to do about the same thing here. Asset database.refresh only because it's trying to write that file. And so if it didn't exist, we need to tell it that it exists or that that file is updated. All right, so read file. In this case, we're going to say, yeah, that's correct. So we need the strings, this one. Let's grab the same location, Control C, V. Now we're going to say from bytes. And now it wants a byte array, which is going to be file dot read system.io.file.read, read all bytes, and it wants the path. And that's it. That sets it. So read file, we just put that data in there. I suppose as soon as the data file has been read, then we're going to be changing this one at that point anyway. Control X, Control C. So it does make sense to call it here. Read file, good. But we're checking that state, so screwed. The only place we ever call it is from a public function where the other one is private, so it's only used internally. This is the one that sets it. We'll leave it at that. Oh, there. Cool. Okay, so now when I'm using this data, when I'm about to depend on it, I need to try load. One small check just to make sure it has its data from the Unity deserialization. Oh, the deserialization is a perfect point to call this one. Okay, so let's put in an iSerialization callback receiver. iSerialization callback receiver. All right, inside of these functions, we're just going to try load here. So on before serialize, no, don't care. On before deserialize. So when we are going to read the file, this is where we're going to read the file. Got it. So in this one, we're going to, on after deserialize, we try read file. Okay. And on after deserialize, we write file. Now, the only problem here is that read file might try to read a file that doesn't exist, so I do need to have a check in there for it. All right, and in that case, we need to say we got this file. Let's find out, does it exist? System.io.file.exists path. All right. If the file exists, then we're going to call the from bytes function with the path. However, whether it exists or not, we are going to set the value of that has it loaded. Well, if we're basing this off deserialization, then it doesn't matter. We don't need a Boolean to manage this anymore. All right, so yeah, let's get rid of that. We don't need the try load function anymore. The read file function is now, read file and write file is now being set by serialization. So when it tries to serialize, which means we still need to mark that the file is dirty. Okay, so inside of here, the point where we would have written the file, which would have been inside of here at the end of it, what is it? We told it to write the file. I just marked that one as private. Is it still? I did not. Private. Now over here, yeah, there, we're getting the error. Instead of this line, we're now going to say asset database dot set dirty, no, dot dirty editor utility dot set dirty. There we go. And that one is this, the procedural traffic designer, not the procedural traffic designer. It was traffic design. This dot traffic All right, so we got traffic design in here. I'm still. Oh, okay, cool. All right, so editors, traffic design. That sets it dirty, and we can just mark it at the same time. So asset database dot set save asset if dirty, and this is expecting the object, right? Object, that works. So this dot traffic design. Cool. So we mark the asset as dirty, and then we tell it to save that one right away. So we've just made changes to it. It has tried to save it now. Excellent. That's exactly what I want. The rest of this data, there was some issue with the merge code. It wasn't working as well as, it wasn't doing everything that I wanted. But I do think it was reducing it a little because we went to 500,000 without the merge code, and then we went down to 300,000 with it. But we were still missing a bridging system that would connect certain pieces. All right. It would only connect the pieces if they were vertices on the edge of different triangles within the same plane. Those ones, it would be fine merging. All right, so this automatically saves the changes, writes it out to binary. Wait, does it write it? Do I have a spot? Yes, as soon as it tries to deserialize, or as soon as it tries to serialize, which means that it's going to get rid of it or it's changing the state of the memory, that one now goes away. So we are still going to hold on to it in memory. And that means every time that we do the deserialization, just like we did before, we're still going to be loading in that same memory. So we could still face a similar load time, but this theoretically should be a heck of a lot faster. So right now the max count is 100. Let's go up to 10,000. See what this does to timing. Try. Oh, it's taking its time. Importing procedural traffic.bytes. Oh, don't tell me it's trying to serialize this. This should be... What? Why are you taking so long to import traffic? Okay, yeah, I can't interact with anything else. That's with 10,000 items. Why are we up to 40 seconds? This shouldn't be anywhere near that long. $50. What are you doing? Okay. So this is saying it's importing, and it's importing the file that I just produced. What's taking it so long here? I don't technically care about that file. I just need to make sure it's there at runtime. Is this because I'm doing an asset database refresh? Or does it just detect the fact that the file changed? Why do you care that this file changed? It's not even in a format that you use. I really, 3 notification. Oh, wait, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for this. I need to be able to see what's going on in it for background tasks, and it'd be great if that was actually an icon on this window so we could see what exact calls we're executing and updating this window. This makes no sense. Why it's on 2 minutes for loading that. The only thing I can think of is if it's not actually loading it, if for some reason the fact that I'm now trying to read it, it's still maintaining this one. I am trying to access a resource file. One of my bigger concerns is that once I actually compile this and go to test it, which I should do soon, that once it actually loads, it's not going to have the data. It's not going to be able to load it up by that same path. No, it should use it by resources. Let's go into the code and take a look at that for a minute. So where is this one? Traffic data.design. And that one is still running. I'm going to leave this one over here, I guess. I'll be able to see it off window. Okay, but that's up over 3 minutes now. Now in this one, we're reading the file. This is checking the file to get the bytes. So what if I were to do, instead, for the write, we need to do this differently. The read, we need to do this differently. The read one should be operating off of the, what is this one? It is resources dot load text asset, and this one's just going to be file name plus dot bytes. I don't need that full path. Var data equals. All right. Now we're going to get rid of these two, or comment them out for now at least. Var data resources load text asset. So we loaded that one. And now we want to say if data. So if we have data, then we will say from bytes. And then we need, what is that one called? A data dot bytes. Read only. Do we have a data dot close? I don't see any function for something like that. All right, cool. So it'll just clear itself out. Okay, so now that we got this stuff, we should be able to just trust the resources load from the other side. And this is up to 5 minutes now. What are you even doing? Let's take this and let's go attach it to Unity. And let's do something where we're checking the data it's trying to operate against. Because, well, actually, we can check the file too. Over here, we got the traffic data.bytes, 313K. This is not that much to work with. 313K. When was it last updated? 2306. It's 23012. It was 6 minutes ago. And this was almost 6 minutes ago. That's right. So we wrote it, and now we did something that should have tried to read it. And it's not. This is definitely not a performance improvement, but the file was done a long time ago. Importing deserialization. Am I stuck in a loop in the deserialization process? I don't have to deserialize. No, we're not messing with that one. Bake traffic designer. Do we have something in there? No. This one, our iSerialization callback receiver. So before serialize, when we're trying to serialize it, we write the file. So we write the data out. They should be trying to read the file. Okay. Inside of here, we get the data from bytes. Yeah. F12. Now, is this doing something? This should be a fast call. Oh, it's unhappy with those. Something about this function chain died. So I no longer have memory access to debug those lines. Okay, stop. I don't know what the heck is taking that one so long. All right, so, well, let's just kill this for the time being. I've had to kill Unity a lot lately. All right, Unity, come back. Where are you? I'm not going to kill you. Most likely do it in the morning. No, it's almost morning. Task manager. Okay, I need Unity. I suppose sorting by... What? What is going on with the RAM usage? Unity peaked the RAM again. Why? Why did you peak the RAM? What? And this is while it's trying to load an asset that is 313K. It's a binary format, and it should have no concern for what that binary format is. Why? Okay, I really need to see procedural work on this one. Yes, I get that it's not responding. Let's just take this thing and end task. Okay, cool. Now let's go back over to here. We're going to try loading it again. That was kind of scary. Settings, always on top. Processes, performance. Okay, so we have about 40 gigs available for it to try to waste. 313K consuming this. Hello, Daniel. 313K destroying this. It's not a memory leak issue. Like, that can't be the case for this one because, I mean, it's possible because I'm messing with the lower level memory and writing data by pointer. But at the same I'm writing data by pointer. What if I told it an insane length? What if I messed up that length? No, because I did a test on this already. I ran the test on this before. The data came back correct. But what if it came back correct while also trying to write out like an additional 8 times whatever it was doing, or 100 times? That might not have been felt when it was only 100 items in the array. But then if there were 313,000 items in the, or if there were 10,000 items in the array, taking 313K, and then that was times 100, we would have 313 megs. Well, wait a minute, that's still nothing. That's not that much. That certainly is not 48 gigs worth. However, one other possibility is I do mark the asset as dirty, and then I try to save it right away. Maybe that triggers a serialization and deserialization, and it's part of a continuous loop that happens. That could be. Okay, so let's go back over to the traffic data. Yeah, right here, I'm setting the asset dirty. And this was an attempt. The only reason I was doing this was trying to early attempt to clear the data inside it, or to force it to save. Okay, we'll get rid of that code and then back inside of Unity, and let's try this again. Yeah, so inside of here, this is inside of the try bake code. The try bake code gets called only when we're baking. That shouldn't have been called or executed or manipulated anything there. Okay, so load is not allowed to be called during serialization. Where was I doing that? Okay, let's take a look at this. Resources.load from serialization. Read file is being triggered by serialization. Wait, serialization is supposed to be read file should be being called by the deserialization on after deserialize. Still, it doesn't like it. Okay, so in other words, it didn't actually trigger the data, or did it? In that case, do I actually get a private variable on this one? Let's take a look. Vigilante 21, take a look at the runtime procedural data here. It seems stuck in a loop. I can still click to highlight something else, but it's stuck in a loop on that one. Okay, I can't use the unserialize or deserialize. That seems to be creating some kind of loop. And when the data was larger, or whatever the case, Unity seemed to be reloading it over and over and over again. I wish Unity provides that one chart that there's that one chart that they produced where it says like this is the order of events that happen. So you have the awake, the start, you have the update, the fixed update, the all the rest of the loops, and they mark out like where those things get executed. But that's kind of limited. And the only reason that they have that one chart is because one of the people who started up at Unity was not that sure. They weren't confident. So they did a test and they experimented to see when these logs would come through. And then they generated that image or an image very much like it. And that became part of their documentation. It wasn't because someone purposefully decided we need to report on this. We need to have this established and clearly understood for our customers. It is one of the internal developers did it for themselves to validate and make sure it was part of that. And then it got added to the documentation. I would love to see Unity actually come through and do that with more of their stuff. Like right now, the serialization, the fact that I can't I can't use resources during the deserialization phase. But then with resources, I shouldn't be deserializing anything in the resources. Okay, so anyway, we've got this. I've got the write file, I've got the read file. Nothing calls it right now. I need to make sure that I do. Going back to the functionality that I was going to do, we're going to put a check in here. That one is private Boolean has it loaded. I already had part of this in place equals false. So no matter what, as soon as they construct a new object, serialization doesn't touch this, just to be extra sure, non-serialized. All right, so serialization from Unity should have zero to do with this. So when it reconstructs this object, this field will always be false after a deserialization instance. Next, I need to do a separate method called public void try read. Check loaded. We'll go with that one. Check loaded. And if, which one is this? Has it loaded? If has it loaded, return. It has loaded. Let's go with that one. It has loaded. It feels a little more natural on if it has loaded. Return. All right, next. So at this point, it has loaded equals false. And then, equals true. And now we're going to say read file. Okay, a read file might be triggered from an empty file. Like I may have just set the file, I may not have done anything with this. And so read file, I need to set the data. Where's read file? So we've got the file name. We're checking resources to see if it exists. Does resources have something? Resources.exists. Okay, hopefully resources automatically just, well, whatever, it'll throw an exception, but that's not an exception that matters. Nothing else happens. Can you zoom out of the code a little more? I could almost see a letter. Oh, what am I on? I'm on 4K in here. Oh, got it. You're on a 1080p screen. Okay. You mean like this? 11:23. So that's about a minute after. Oh, I probably am on old data too. What setting am I on? Stream analytics, ultra low latency. That maintained. Good. Okay, cool. All right. Yeah. So on my stuff, I'm usually operating off of a lot of screens, and I have been avoiding every time that I'm doing, when I was originally doing live streaming, or I avoided doing live streaming because I always had to operate in one of the smaller monitors. But for live streaming, I just decided to do this at 4K. And that's because that's what my main screen is operating on. All right. We got from byte, so we read the file, we try that. Nothing is doing a write file yet. I still need a write. Write file can still execute on the iSerialization. Let's keep that one on there. So, comma, iSerialization, callback receiver, alt enter, put them both in there. On before serialize. Yeah, when we serialize, that's when we want to do it. Write file. On after deserialize. What? No. I don't need anything. Stop formatting it. Okay. Thank you, Ryder. I'm actually I like that feature when I use it, but I have no comfortability using it yet. But if I have something selected and I put a parentheses or a bracket, a square bracket, code bracket around it, it automatically wraps it in that, and I like it. But I don't like it when I'm actually putting that in there because I just want to replace the code I selected with it. And so I actually have to hit the backspace first, and I'm not used to it. Okay. Okay, makes sense, but I think most people want to be able to see and read what you're writing. Just more engaging, if anything. Thank you. And yeah, that does make sense. So you won't be able to read a lot of what I have over here in the file list because I can't zoom in or zoom out on that one. And same thing with some of the menu and text that's going to show up inside of Unity. But the game will be visible. Wait, over here. Okay, so on after deserialize, we don't try to read the file. Instead, anything that wants to work with it, I need to make it so it's going to call the 2 bytes. We're going to I'll leave that public for now. Clear, I don't need those ones. Where was the try check button? We got the ref list. What? Okay, I'm all the way at the top. Okay, got it. It has loaded. That's over here. Non-serialized. That's false. Also, I don't like that layout format. A lot of the tooling likes to take any of these items and put them in front of the text, which then pushes those lines even farther out. I don't like that format. There's probably a way to negate the effect, but I'm unaware of how to do it, and I haven't taken the energy to go look it up. All right, so private Boolean, it has loaded false. Then once we check loaded, so check loaded, it is loaded. If it hasn't, then we try to read the file. Okay. Now checking loaded, doing a read file, if the file doesn't exist, that's going to really screw things up. Yeah, that should be okay. It'll screw things up, but it basically won't show anything. Like if I'm trying to use the designing tool, then I can't use it. It won't even try to get to read the file. Now I need to be able to call on that data. So inside of here, not baked, I have nodes. Anytime something is using mapping or nodes, find me all references, F12. Oh crap, that's a lot. Traffic data procedural during the update. Okay, so during the update, we try to check to see if it's there. Before I do this, okay, this one is at editor time update. Wait a minute. This one actually executes. Oh, it's all if Unity editor code. And it could be operating while the game is running. That's fine while I'm in the editor. But inside of here, I do need to step out of it. So if there is no traffic design, then don't do anything. The next thing that we're going to check over here is if traffic design dot. Oh, no. We'll just call traffic design to check. Traffic design dot check. Check loaded. All right, so check loaded. That's now going to do the code that I needed to check for here. Now, where else? Let's go back. What's the hotkey for the back button here? Control minus. All right. All right, what else is using you? F12. Next one, we got traffic designer. Traffic designer probably has several places. Okay, so add node. How do I detect the Control Shift B to move my code into here? Something was checking that state. As soon as I do that, that's the point where I need to check the data. No, because I could still work with a bake. Okay, 2 places. The bake would be the other one. And I don't want to just search B. However, I'm noticing a distinct lack of B's in this one. No, I've got AB. Okay. Remove node. Traffic system editor. Select traffic system. Okay, inside of this one, blah, blah, blah. Inspector GUI. We begin this one. We try the bake. The bake function's hidden inside of there. Before we bake, and what is this one? Designer dot traffic design. Oh, that's on traffic designer. So designer. What do they call the data on this one? What did they call it data? What did I call it data? Okay, render squirrel, debugging fields, setting fields. Okay, got it. It's in settings.traffic data. Why did it take me to there? Designer.settings.traffic data. Check loaded. Okay, so if we try to bake, we check that the data is loaded first. All right. That's normal. Next, on scene GUI, we're checking key up, key down events, etc. Blah, blah, blah. All right, now in this one, we're checking to see if we're going to be doing anything. This is while we're interacting with it, so I could just call it out and set that here. Designer dot settings dot traffic data dot check. Okay, so we do the same check in this one. Key down. These are the keys that I'm pressing, but it's not the hotkey that I'm reacting to still. Where's the hotkey I'm reacting to? It's got to be one of the functions inside of this. I know there's a menu option that I have in here somewhere. What is that menu option? Okay, let's go back into the Unity editor for a minute. That should tell me. Vigilante, because it's an option that's right in the Vigilante menu, I believe. Vigilante traffic system. Use traffic system. That's the keyword I'm looking for. Control Shift F. Use traffic. Thank you. Oh, okay. It's inside of the traffic system editor. I was looking in the procedural editor, or I was looking here. Whatever, that doesn't matter. Okay, so inside of this one, we just had this function here. So select the traffic system. In this one, traffic.find the traffic designer. It's a static one. We have to get the object. Got it. So that was the reason why that was there. Next one, now that we've set it, we set the scene view into focus. We set the traffic as the selected object. We do get traffic. So yeah, as soon as we're in here, then we're going to say traffic dot settings dot traffic data dot check loaded. Okay, that way as soon as we go into the editor for it, then we're checking the data. Okay. The baking data is the only one that we have to make sure loads at runtime. Okay. Agreed. Okay. Now is it 11:29? Sorry, I didn't read that. That was 6 minutes ago. What? Open Studio. YouTube Studio. What is this? This is like an application, or is this a web browser? Well, let's find out. F12. There's no F12. This is like an actual studio that checks this. Okay, cool. No. This is the web page. Because it's the exact web page. So it's got the web page loaded inside of here. It just doesn't have a debugger. Move this one back over. I don't see anything extra it gives me, so goodbye. All right, we got that data up there. Back over here, we check to see that the traffic is loaded. Go back into this. Now, I don't have anything in there that should be triggering a loop, but let's go into the data and save this scene, make sure everything's in a good state. Now we're going to expand out, was it system? No, UI. No, it is system, traffic designer. All right, inside the traffic designer, max counts, that didn't get saved. Let's go to 100. Okay. That should write the file, which the file still exists. It knows that it's there. This data asset was generated because the worker processor has crashed during the last import. This data asset was generated because the worker process crashed. That is a weird message to have in here. The file was generated because I gave it the command to generate it, to write that file out. That write wasn't even part of using resources. So the file already existed. It was the resource system trying to load it, that it was already there. This default asset. That is weird. Okay, let's go back over to the file and go to here. No, where's the file? Procedural traffic, show and explore. Yeah, we're still looking at this. Oh, hey, there's our original .bytes file. Oh, here's something I didn't know about. If you create a file with a dot extension, it doesn't show up or get a meta file inside of the Unity editor. That's something I might take advantage of for editor tooling in the future. I did not know this. Okay. Delete. I don't need that file now, but I do need to make sure that this file gets out there, so I can't take advantage of it for here, just be for editor tooling. Okay, next, so we got traffic.bytes. That one is stored into there. We do know it's there. Back over to traffic designer. We have 100 in here. Let's create it. That loaded. It took 0.001 seconds. That sounds accurate. Next, let's go over to the actual file, which is stored over here. Procedural data. No, not that one. It didn't save a file. Oh, no. It's stuck in a loop on this where it's trying to write it. Procedural traffic. Wow. Okay. Click away. Look at all this. 3.2 case. Yes, I want to delete that. And all these other ones too. Delete. It created the dot because I didn't have a file name in there yet. All right, back over to Traffic Designer. Let's select the file itself. See what the size of the file is. Over here, traffic data, we've got this one. Why is it still stuck in a loop on this when I'm trying to view the inspector on it? We go to the inspector. What is traffic data doing? So traffic data, do we have an on validate? There's no on validate there, no on validate there. We have before serialization. On before serialize, we try to write the file. That shouldn't be an issue. Write file, we take the file and we're just writing it through system.io. Then we do an asset database refresh. I don't need that to be there. I only need that once it's there and once it shows up, it's fine. But that might just be an issue the first time this loads. Maybe the fact that it tries to write the file when it serializes, and then the write file triggers an asset database refresh, which might trigger the serialization process to loop. So that might be why I'm seeing that loop happening there. Now, inside of this, what else have we got? Check. Yeah, I don't have an on validate, so that's got to be that's the only thing I can think of right now that might be causing this. Let's go back to here. And that was happening when we selected procedural traffic, that it was constantly updating and trying to save the file because it was triggering a write. Okay, now I'm in here. It's not doing the consistent changes. It wasn't doing an asset database refresh, which I guess is what was triggering this one and caused it to write again and again. Wow. All right. Good to know. What's next? Wait a minute, if that one's there. Okay, let's see what the state of our data is in here. Control Shift B. Nothing. Okay. Now let's try. Okay, we've got data. Let's go back out of... No, that's not what I meant. There. Oh, that's in this one. This one is drawing the data as well. It's drawing those cubes, which is not really what I wanted. But let's go Control Shift B. That should give me my circles. Where are my circles? What are these errors? Oh, the draw functions. Okay, I don't care about that. All right, so if I said V, I can't see which one is selected. Okay, let's change this one. Let's go to X marks the spot. Yeah, look at that. Okay. It should be like right around there. But that sets this triangle. Okay. X marks the spot. Okay, that overlaps it just fine. All right, so we generated the map. Let's go back over to Control Shift B, so that highlights this item anyway. We generate the data. Good. Took 0 seconds. Then we're going to bake the data. Okay, that ran. Now, if I take a look at traffic data, it shows up in here. I did have that other loop that was happening. Maybe that was something that was triggering this. Okay, now let's go to the baked data. I can't see what's inside of this one, but let's go to baked. I see 102 that have shown up in baked. This looks correct. Okay, we have baked data right now. I'm going to throw this at cars and trucks for the moment. So inside of this one, we've got the traffic system there, which is showing my car right now. Oh, that was for the debugging. Traffic system, and now it's missing the baked traffic, which we only have one. Excellent. And now let's go for the truck traffic. We're going to do the same one. Excellent. Okay. Now play. Object reference not set to an instance of an object. Wait, but I've got trucks and cars. Now everything is set to be right around the base of this. Okay, there's a couple trucks down at the bottom. That is way too trafficy right now. Not that one, enter. I don't even know where that other cube landed. Whatever. Oh, it thinks I have the cube. Okay, whatever, but what is this issue? Pick another set, pick another piece of data. What data are you looking at? Pause. What error am I seeing? Oh, the cars. The cars need to hold on to the traffic data as well. So everything was basically just stuck in a loop of wherever it was, unable to get the data again. So if I go over to cars and inside of, what was it? It's like car driver or something. Car race, no. Oh, this is, I need the traffic car. So the traffic car is missing the baked traffic. Grab it. And then I also need that on the tractor. There we go. Cool. Save that. Play. Let's see if that clears up the data issues that I'm running into on this one. Every one of those gets their first piece of data set when it gets initialized and constructed. But then after it reaches its destination, it then requires to find a new one, and it tries again every single frame to do it. I'm not seeing that error show up. All the data does appear to be down here still. Whoa, okay, chaos. Camera's still is a bit on the whippy side here. That'll probably be something to upgrade. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to have the ability to upgrade now. Get the mechanic sound, so let's see if that works. That's working. Okay, cool. Oh, wow. And that also gave us a lot of impulse updates. Z. Strafe update is strong. Torque. Gravity force. Gravity force. I don't have anything that does engine pressure or engine power. So I may have just sunk the car into the ground. Oh, it's holding. That means that we're really close to the ground, which our speed is already really fast. Oh, yeah. I'm on the ground. Whoa. Where is everyone? They're up there. I have to get back to the mechanics. The numbers on this are a little too crazy. Okay, impulse drive. Okay, gravity's too strong. Whatever, I'll come back to that one. Also, I can just reset the data. I should have considered that. All right, so we've got data being saved in there. Oh, first stage of the save of this stuff is in there. So Control S twice, and now back over to terminal. All right, git add dot. It's not going to like that one. Caps lock. Git add dot. Git commit dash m, and this one is asset. Oh, I lost track of which one it is. I have to wait for the git add because I don't know where I am in the text message I was typing. Oh, I actually did back it up to the right spot. All right, so this one, what were we doing in this one? We got traffic data is now stored binary. Designer. And then git push. Okay, so that gives us our initial asset on this. Did I just took out my heater? All right, let's get back to this. Heat. There. Okay, so I got those lines saved. I've got the data saved in here. Now I need to do the same practice to the baked data. But at least I've worked out most all the caveats in this one. So now that I've done that, I can do it again. All right, this time hopefully a heck of a lot faster too. So let's also go over to here and that button. There it is. Settings, data, delete, delete, go. All right, what else have I got going on? That one's happy. This one's good. Cool. Baked data. All right, so the baked data has very few systems that interact with it. So inside the gameplay, I'm not dealing with continue while playing, which I should actually change the settings for that one as well. So inside of here, we have project settings. continue. Let's player, and inside of this one, I think it was one of the bottom ones. We want the continue. We want to make sure that it's marked not to continue after code changes. I don't remember where that line is. Is that resolution presentation splash image? I don't think it's any of these ones. Publishing settings. GPU, no. I might have already turned that option off. Game's not running, kid. Well, and replay editor. All right, force text asset serialization. Force binary. If I set mixed, how do I change that? Do I not need to do any of this, but just mark the whole thing as binary, and that would resolve the speed performance issues? I would lose code differences on this, but big deal. It's not like I was going to be merging changes with the serialized vector3 list. That would change the rest of the items too. But what did I just did? I changed the asset serialization mode to mixed. Okay, I wanted to see what exactly that option does. Unity, editor, asset serialization mode. All right. Control F, asset serialization. Okay, mode. Mixed. Assets in binary mode remain in binary mode, and assets in text mode. Well, wait, how do you set them to begin with? Unity uses serialization to load and save assets from the bundle. To help with this, you can store assets in a text-based format. If you aren't merging scenes, Unity can store scenes in a more space-efficient binary format, also more efficient for loading, or allow text in both in the same formats. The scene merging. Okay, yeah, scenes I still want to be in there for the merging, but okay, force binary, convert all assets to binary, including new assets. Reduce version control noise. What was that option? Oh, yeah. That was to make it better for the serialization. Okay. Or for merge options. Wait, is that what they did? No. Oh, they still don't have it. Okay, unless they do. So, one of the reasons that Unity had so many issues with merging before is, and this one surprised me. I had no idea that this was an issue at all, that they were reaching an 80 character per line limit, and somehow that messes with merging tools. I was not aware of that being an issue, but that seems to be what they suggest in here. When Unity reaches a line length of 80 characters, it attempts to split the YAML data over multiple lines. The issue that I saw in the system is that if we were to move objects in a scene, the serialization of how they had that header information lined up wouldn't make any sense, because it, yes, that line changed, but it gets confused as to, was it a whole object that moved? Where does the graph actually change for dealing with this issue? Then again, I guess maybe it's also kind of become ingrained that we're a heck of a lot more careful about when we're saving stuff, but we could do a lot better for this. All right, I'm not sure, so I'm not going to say anything else on that because I'm not positive of the issue right now. I know where it used to be, And I haven't seen that in a while, and I've assumed a lot of it was to do with this. Okay, so anyway, we got this pipeline. No, I don't want to change it. The only problem that I see in this is that if I set it to mixed, I don't know how to set an asset. Assets in binary mode remain in binary mode. Assets in text mode remain in text mode. Unity uses binary mode by default for new assets. So new scenes, new prefabs. That's not what I want. I want it for my own, for files that I say are supposed to be it. So this just goes to binary mode, but leaves previous ones in text. None of that is what I want. Give me control over mixed. Oh, let's do a search. Unity. Force binary mode on certain assets. Binary serialization mode on certain assets. Okay, it's not mixed, not from what I'm seeing. Unity allows you to configure how assets are serialized can be useful for debugging. Steps to set serialization mode. Editor settings, go find the serialization mode. You will see 3 options. That's not at all what I want. No. Oh, right there. Prefer binary serialization. Okay, let's check this out and see how it stores the data. Right now, I can validate this one. Let's go over to the baked data, right click and show and explore. Now for this one, it's an asset file, 51K. If I open it in Notepad, I see YAML. This is what I was expecting. Positions stored like this. That's weird. I see what looks like a GUID, but that's probably hexadecimal. Just hexadecimal in general. So it's saving the positions, but whatever. That's not my concern at the moment. This one is serializing and storing the data. Okay, got it. Now, if I go back to my script that's editing this one, baked traffic, and now for baked traffic, what was that command? No, show me the command. Prefer binary serialization. Okay. Does this just go to binary and will it immediately get faster because of it? If that's all I needed to do, I just spent like 4 hours of development time converting the previous asset system over to binary. Actually, I suppose then I could just go to my commit history and undo 2 steps of it. Were there other things? I hope there weren't other things that I improved in that. Okay, so inspector, what have we got? We go back. Oh, yeah. Make a change to this. So I'll put that one as 0.1, a very minute difference. And the baking will change it anyway. So Control S twice to save it. Now inside of here, 24K, it used to be 51K. Open in Notepad. That's it. No serialization, doesn't take as much data. That should load a lot faster. It does have additional heading information in here now. It's identifying which type of settings that are in there. This makes me want to get a binary bake tool. We've got more data being stored in this. Telling me what file type it is? Oh, well, the meta file should hold down to that information. Why does it contain so much extra stuff? Okay. Well, in that case, that was all it took. I am now aggravated with myself, but this is, I guess, how I'm going to learn this one. A 4-hour painful point. Now, to undo some history. First of all, we need to clear out anything I was already doing. Let's just use GitHub Desktop for this. I find GitHub Desktop to be one of the most straightforward ones to use. It's like the most simple to use, which also, since it's simple, means that it is the least flexible to cover people's needs. However, as long as you're just using some of the basic features from GitHub and not doing a lot of extra stuff or weird things or whatever, then should do fine for whatever you need. Now, in this case, I'm going to undo all the changes I just did. Discard selected. Now let's go to history. There's a lot of changes in the last commit that I made. Baked assets, yeah, that's fine. Tractor prefab, that's because I was getting rid of some of those assets that were inside of there. The game scene, yes, some of the elements changed because what was referenced inside of the systems changed. Traffic designer data. Show me the differences. No, I want to see the CS file difference. Oh, it's trying to look up the history. Why is it this slow? Okay. Whatever the case. So in this one, I have the iSerialization callback receiver. That's where I started to manipulate it. This one, we're setting the data to dirty. Traffic designer CS. We're taking this one and we're checking if it's settings.check loaded, where we've added that one. So that was the previous one we just did. We can get rid of all that. 23 hours ago, data saves, but slowly in the middle of rewriting. Okay. What was this one? 0 files in the commit? No, I don't think so. Okay. There's a lot of things that we did in this one. Added files. Oh, that's right. I added some audio files. This is fine. We were still slow mode then. So this one, I want to blame you. I want to get rid of you. So we're going to go back to this commit. Check out commit. Yes, that's fine. Permission denied. Data runtime. Okay. Where's my notepad? I think I still have the file sitting open. Don't save. What else? Where is it? Not that one. Yeah, I don't have anything open that should have been holding that one. Unity itself. Are you doing something with this? You're reloading the domain. Why? Close it. Permission design. So is this holding onto it? Is that why? Okay, anything else from this one? Let's try check out commit. It was because Unity was open. It was holding on to a piece of data. All right, that's fine. Now that I've got this one, data dies slowly. I'm not sure what that change was. Our current data, we pulled this one back up. That was yesterday, but it doesn't have the original data state. Okay. Oh, that's right. We're in a detached head right now. Okay, so in this case, let's go back into Unity, let's reload it, and let's reconfigure those particular assets to save to binary. And that should also increase the speed. Okay, so we can just test this one manually and see if this resolves it, because that's going to be so much faster. Well, hopefully we'll actually get a realistic test with it in this case. So 41. Now, I did do searching on this originally, and when eventually there were points where I wasn't getting what I wanted out of it because this text serialization was taking too long, and I explained what the details and the issues that I was having were. The AI didn't suggest anything along the lines of the attribute. It suggested, oh yeah, here's the solution for how to write a data serializer using a text asset, using bytes, etc. And so it supported running down this rabbit hole when there was a very simple solution. Okay, so now I'm inside of here. Let's clear this stuff out. First off, car, not car. What do we have? Traffic car. Are you referencing data that you need? Traffic car, you're holding on to the procedurally baked data. Next, let's go over to traffic designer. I want to see the data. It's supposed to have draw in here. What's going on? Control Shift B. I don't see any data in here at all. Okay, well, let's do this. If I were to go over to the car traffic baked, I only see 14. Oh, that's car traffic. Baked procedural. Okay, here we go. We're getting a slow data load. So that's 329,000. Great. Now if I go over to car traffic procedural, I don't see any of the data at all. Why? This should have the script information that I had in there. This is file data, non-serialized. Okay, I know those ones aren't there. But I thought this had the file name. Public string file name. Okay, yes. This data was marked non-serialized for this save. And if that's non-serialized, then I just lost all the data. Not necessarily. Restore those ones. Go back into here. It's going to try deserializing. Let's see if it still has that state in there. And then I can go over to the actual file where this is saved and have it restore just that one file. Inspector shows nothing. Oh, nothing is selected right now. Okay, show me the procedural data. 2, the default. Let's see if I can put just this one back, which this one is stored in assets 41 data runtime. Yeah, it saved that part, but what about the actual data file? Oh, yeah, that one's not saved yet. Control S, save that so I can get the difference to show up in here. Is it not storing the asset file? What files were included in this one? So inside of here, let's expand that out so I can see the full path. All right, assets. Like I wanted that change to be in there. '41 were in audio. Resources, data. No, we're not using that one yet. Scripts. Data runtime. These ones. Okay, a lot of data that got wiped out. Huge amount got deleted. Where is my scroll? Yeah, it just wiped out huge amounts of data. So in this one, we're going to restore those. How do I just restore these lines? I don't know the answer to this one. Oh, wait, we got buttons in here. Can I? No. Okay, I don't have a quick solution to do this one. And I don't want to have to bake all that data again. Well, I can bake more of the data. I just don't get the large data scale out of it. All right, so inside of here, we're going to go back over to, what did it drag into this one? Main camera does not go up there. Put it back. All right, save the scene, traffic designer, 1 million count. The data is supposed to be serial. Oh, go in there and modify those, the classes for this stuff now. So inside of the baked class, which is still holding lots of data. Okay, we got that one. Let's go to the class code. All right, right at the top of it, we add another attribute. That one was forgotten. Preferred binary serialization. Preferred binary serialization. Save that, Control S. The other one that I needed is the traffic, the other type of traffic. So we have baked traffic, and then we should have designer traffic data there. Scroll up to the top and right here. That's it. Save both, return to Unity. Okay, theoretically, that should clear up the data as soon as I load it. Okay. I think that's doing what it... Okay, now let's go check this one out. So inside of here, right-click, Show in Explorer. The file is empty. Why are you telling me the file is empty? That's the file right there. Try this again. Show in Explorer. Suddenly lots of data. Okay, 172 megs. All right. Now let's go. If I open it, it's going to be huge. All right, let's do it. It's only 172 megs. Open. That's still YAML. There. So we've still got YAML on it. Now I need to trigger a save. So I need to save a minor change to this. So 0.1, Control S, S, that saves the project. Do I still have the notepad sitting open? Go away. Don't save. The other ones. Don't save. Don't save. All right, now let's go back into the folder for this. Right there. 62K. It was 172K before, so it's in binary format now. All right, let's go over to here. I clicked over to this. It's trying to load. It did take a few seconds, but I don't think it took... Oh, look at that. It's still loading data. And these ones are still catching up, but I don't need that data to be shown in here. Let's get rid of that data for showing, and that might also improve the speed, but that should only affect the performance of it when the item is selected. Okay, so yeah, let's hide the data. We just need to hide it in the inspector. That's S nodes, hiding the inspector. I don't care about that one. Serialize field. Do I even use S nodes? What the heck was S nodes? S nodes was to deal with the serialization. These are the items being serialized. Right, because the unsafe struct node wasn't getting loaded. This was a reason why I needed to actually store it. Node wasn't being saved. I wasn't able to store this data right here. Because of that, I lost that data and had to regenerate it. So in that case, if I did a binary save on this and then a binary reload, it would actually be faster. Because in this case, it has to load in the bytes into one set and then also reload the data from the other type. And copy that over, but at least it's only a byte copy. So theoretically, that's faster. But I still want to hide that. So nodes, I don't want you to show up in the inspector. So nodes, hide in inspector. That way I don't have time being wasted on the performance of that one. Same with this one. We're going to hide in inspector, comma, serialize field, comma, serialize field. Okay. Back into Unity. What time have we got? Oh, it's midnight 20. That is about time for me to go to sleep, but let's see how the data is doing first. All right. Performance issues I was running into when I started manipulating stuff and working with it. Okay, I am seeing a slow rate for moving this thing around while I have this item selected. If I go over here and select something else instead, like traffic designer. That was weird. So if I go back to traffic baked procedural, it's got this selected, but I'm not doing anything with it. Look at that. Everything is so slow and choppy at this point. That's interesting. Okay, traffic designer, just fine. Okay, Control-Shift-V. Okay, I've got no data in there. Let's start creating some data. 0. We'll set it to 1,000. Now I need, let's set it to 10,000. And try it. There we go. Whoa. Wait a minute. That baked 10,000 almost instantly. I remember that taking longer. How long did it take? Get rid of those. 0.016 seconds. Okay, let's go to 100,000. It'll take 1.16 seconds? Maybe. Try. Half a second. 1 million. Try. 5 seconds? 2 seconds. It's getting faster when I give it more data to run. I like that. Okay. But the amount of data it's running, okay, we'll give it no cap. Unlimited. How long are you going to take to process the entire structure? 2 seconds. Oh, that converted it to a max count integer. Okay. Nice. The baking process, I don't expect that to be faster. I'm going to at least start it. So we'll hit the bake and see what happens with it. But the entire process to run that now took 2 seconds. And the primary change to this was that I changed it to a binary serialization. I wonder how often I was changing the state of it that it was doing things to save that back to this drive? No, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, anyway, so baking on this part, I was expecting that to take a while. I suppose I could put a check to see how fast it's processing. So let's go over into the traffic procedural system. So I need the bake. Traffic designer. There we go. And then in this one, we got the bake functionality. So what are we doing? We're generating all the data for baking. Yeah, so it's inside of this stuff that we're restructuring the data. Okay. Oh, then we call the bake system inside of here. So let's go to F12. The first part should be fast. This one might be a little bit slower. So in this one, we handle the bake. Let's put a breakpoint up here when we're on the main loop. Check with this one, attached to Unity Editor. Now, is Unity Editor still running? It's in step 2 baking. Step 2 baking. So it is inside of here. Now, I is on position 32,000. The number of positions we have is 329,000. Okay, so yeah, baking is still taking a while. And that's probably because of connect node spending a lot. So connect node down here, we're doing a comparison for all the connections that need to happen. I suppose I could do this in a different pass. I could. I could make this faster by changing the connect node to not happen in line with the node change. So connect node requires that I continuously go through all of the mapping signatures, all of the map setups, and we go to every single one of the items to see, does this have it? Does this have it? Is this A or B? Is this A or B? And I'm checking all of them, and the majority of them are going to be no. So if I have 329,000 and on average there's only 2 connections per, then I'm checking 329,000 points of data when I only needed to check 2. So if I were to switch the loop to do the other way, where instead of trying to connect the nodes now, I connect it at the end, I'd be getting this a lot more. I would be going through the loop of basically just check the node, the map for A, B, and it's got the indexes stored in it. So then I can go back and store the data that I need. Is the ID, do the IDs match? So when I create a node, its node position, I'm creating the nodes list, and so their normals and positions will match in sequence with the positions that I pull in. Okay, so yeah, the indexes will still match. And then I'm going to get a huge boost in performance because connected data. Okay, I'm going back over this for my own sake at the moment. Inside of here, we create the node. So we're creating the node structure and memory, and then we're trying to also run the connections. Now the connections, map A and map B, how much data do I have inside of that? 329,000 for map A and B. Okay. And for the positions length, 329,430. It's identical. I wasn't expecting that one. I guess they're all doing triangles, so each one should use 2, but for every position, that means that we should have 2 connections. No, every position only has 1 connection because we're basically going around the loop of the triangles and adding those connections, but they're only one way. So technically, there is only 1 connection per line or per vertice. Okay. So yeah, we end up with the same number on the current setup. There's no merging. So then we go through these. We go through 329,000 mapped entities just to find 2 that are the correct instances, where either A or B. We do it twice. We go through 640,000 instances, or 660,000 instances to check this. Each one of these is only going to return a single response. Wow. Oh man, that's horrible. But then if I go the other way, I will be doing random lookups against this stuff, but it's by address. I know the exact address. Okay. In that case, because the only thing I need to do is just set these position items down there. Let's just put a little item in here. Well, it's not like I can stop the code. I can stop the code. I can stop the code by just doing that there. There. Now in Unity, that should give me focus back inside the game. Yeah, reloading the domain. Do your thing. Okay, so now inside of here, we need to basically just go through and reconnect the nodes. So I'm going to take these ones, Control KC. Now, to reconnect the nodes, I'm not doing a separate function in this one. We've already got the data that's already stored inside of here. We've just gone through and generated the nodes. So we have nodes. But in this case, I'm going through each one of the map references. And I need to look at both A and B together. So let's do this. For int I equals 0 to I is less than, what is it? Map A dot length. And then I plus plus. map A and B dot length match. Okay, so now I'm going through every single one of these, and I'm going to say I need the two variables. Var A equals map A I, and var B equals map B I. Okay, so I've got A and B. Now I need to say, or I'm basically just going to run the connection to both of them right now. So in that case, I go over to, what were the commands? I need to say the node position. So I have to store the node position. This is getting the vector3 from the positions list. So I'm going to take these values right over here. Let's take them, Control C, and we're going to paste it right up here. Okay, so now inside of this one, we're going to say var node A equals, and that's nodes. Let's see, A. Yeah, that's correct, right there. And then the other one is var node B equals nodes B. So we've got both of the nodes that we need to manipulate now. At this point, we're going to say node.position. Oh, and another thing. So when we were doing the original data, we were up, if I remember right, it was around 32,000 out of 320,000, and that had already taken several minutes. So we were looking at like probably about a half hour, 20 minutes to 40-minute range to process all of this data. And now inside of here, we've got this node. I'm going to see if hopefully this whole thing will process in under 5 minutes. I will do a check after 2 minutes to see what it's like. Okay, so now inside of this one, var node A, node B, we're getting each one of the nodes. The next thing inside of this, node position, we grabbed the node item that we needed. Okay, now we need to address the indexes of both of them. So node A dot indexes, and this is node A dot count equals, and now I need B. Okay, and now indexes is an array of integers, right? Pointers can only be used. So indexes. Wait, are you saying that nodes is? Oh, that's right. Node is an unsafe structure. How was I manipulating it before? What did I do differently? Node, I get the node position. What does node come from? Ref node. So inside of here, I've got the node and I'm passing it in because I already have it. Okay, and then on this one, I pass in ref node, and then I can use it the natural way. Oh, that's right. So here, what I've done is I've taken the node, I'm taking the indexes. What? No, that's not right. Can I do it this way? Ref. Ref and ref. Okay, now what's the complaint? Unsafe context. So yes, we got the ref can be used in oh, duh. The baking method is now got to be unsafe because I'm using unsafe data. I have to operate it in an unsafe state. That's it. Okay, so I didn't need the ref. However, nodes, I am pulling out a struct from here. So node is a struct. I am getting it by reference. That is important in this case. Then I'm using it, and I wasn't able to do this before because it was unsafe, but now I'm using it safely, or unsafely, but I'm called out. Okay, so now that I've got that one, now it's node A dot positions. And inside of this one, it is node a.count equals. And in this one, we got the positions. Node a count, the position is going to be node b dot position, the natural position of it. Now, why doesn't it like this one? Okay. Can I convert that source into byte? So if I'm not mistaken, then I have a value to do this. That's it right there. Node position dot node count. All right. So node dot node position. There, that's it. Okay, now we do the same thing and swap the A's and B's. All right, so here goes to B. This one goes to B. B, and this one goes to A and A. Okay, so A, B, B, A, B, A, B, B, A, B, A. All right, now these ones go away, be gone. Okay, I should have a much more significant, this should operate a heck of a lot faster in performance. Let's go over to Unity. That's not Unity. Wait, what do I have this one? Don't save. Unneeded. All right, save it. I'm not blocking anything in Unity. Return to Unity. Okay, inside of here, I probably need to have it try again. That data probably doesn't get saved. And honestly, that with the speed that it's able to execute this as, this is so much faster. Okay, so I just tried it. Did it do it again? Try again, because I wasn't paying enough attention. Yeah, only 2 seconds still to process all the states. That took longer than that before. Or maybe not. Maybe I should check my old videos. I hope we're getting this done today. The whole thing won't be done today, but it's I'm almost done for the night anyway. But the baking process, that one should bake completed in 0.157 seconds. That doesn't seem right. Oh, either that or the speed performance boost was that significant. Oh my God, it was looking at like 30 minutes before, and that just took, that can't be right. No. That what it actually is doing is should be pretty fast, but it was taking so long. And is that the case? Okay, go back into here and let's take a look at the data of what I just stored. So baked procedural. We've got radius in here. Do I have anything from debug? Nothing of interest. So let's exit debug. And let's go to the file. Show me the file. Show and explore. 56K. I just took a 30+ minute process and turned it into 2.2 seconds. Oh, man. Oh, what? No, I do not know that yet. I haven't tested the data. I can see it gave me data for what I was expecting, but now I want to try driving the car around and taking a look. The data from the cars should spawn in new places all around me. I'll be able to tell by the little dots in the map. Okay, so let's reset my car's data and then start. Oh, that's interesting. It's all choppy right now, but I also have the inspector open for this file. Let's click on anything else but that file. Let's go to traffic. No, over here. Instant recovery from speed and performance, literally by having the asset open. The updates are running against it, and it's redrawing that. every single time. But when it's holding on to lots of data, even if it's not drawing it, it is still going through a process of checking that data in some way that just makes it horrifically slow. Okay, cars are showing up. Let's see if they start following me around in new places. Look, cars are showing up again. Okay. Oh, car over there. Excellent. Let's get up here and... yeah, I have more cars showing up around me. Okay, let's get over to this area. No, come on. You can do it. A car just drove out of the water. Okay. It just baked and reproduced the entire system. Oh my god. Okay, so now I'm in really hating you for not using Unity native for the auto serialize. Now we do it manually. We don't do it manually anymore. No, I got rid of that. The stuff that we were doing, I got rid of that. All right, so Belk, I don't know what to call you, so I'll just call you Belk. So Belk, we've got. I had originally last time I was working on writing a serialization process where it would write everything out to a binary file. Instead, I found a really painful discovery that inside of that there's an attribute that I can put on a scriptable object that says, oh, what is this? Now I'm in. Oh, sorry, just came in. I need to rewatch after you go to sleep. That's okay. But oh yeah, so the prefer binary serialization. If I attach that to the top of a scriptable asset of the script for it, it's not going to save serialized to text. It will save as binary. The second thing, now that still was expensive in my time because it made it operate faster, but it still has to hold on to a massive amount of data which was its own entire issue. So if I have that object selected when it's got like 300,000 points saved to it, it's still going to be painful. Just discovered that one as well. Now, the big change that just happened inside of here that caused the baking process to go from 30 minutes to 0.15 seconds, just over a tenth of a second. That was the baking process. Where is that? Traffic designer, this one. The baking process. Where's my bake button? It goes over here, bake. No, that's not bake. This is bake, and we call this function. So we're putting stuff together and passing it into this one. I had these two functions here, connect node. So what's going on in this is that I bake the code. This is taking the original vectors that are being used for drawing. For drawing, every one of the nodes, I have a list of nodes for it to draw where the point is, where that node is, where that waypoint is in the game. And then I also need a line to be drawn that shows from this point to this point, so I can see how they're connected. But I only need one instance of that. Now, when I'm baking the data, looking up that data in a huge list of arrays is horrible on performance. So what I wanted to do was load all that data together at the same time. So when I save it, I save, here's the point that I'm at, and then when that point also includes, here's a list of indexes to all the other points that I can go to from this one. So it already knows where it can head to in memory. And basically what it does is it says, as soon as I'm at this point, I am going to keep the index that I was on, grab a new index from the list, or go grab the new node from where we just ended up, and then look at its list and make sure that I don't select the index that I just came from. But that's the only other reason that I kept that ID around. Then I know, and then I also store, I grab that one, I've already got that node, so I know here's the index of where it was, here's the index of where I'm going, and then here's the position. And I store those pieces of information at the time that I need to. I don't keep it any other time. And so the runtime data is able to operate very quickly. It only needs to look up like 3 pieces of information, and they're all held together. Every vector is every point in the every waypoint is only allowed to hold 8 other points. And the reason I did that was so that the nodes would be using fixed points in here, so that because if I used a regular array, the array would have stored that data out in the heap, and I'd have to be jumping around memory anyway for every single one of these lookups. But now I don't. Technically, I'm not sure how much I save with that. Because of the amount of memory it took. But anyway, once I've got these bytes in memory, I've got all the positions, all the indexes to choose from. Okay, so next, what I was doing is I would create the node. So I've got the runtime node generated. It has its position, it has its normal. Then I try to check all the connections for it, which meant passing in all the connections between nodes and having it look up to see if A was one of the correct setups for this one, A or B. And I had to do this from both directions. Because A or B might not be correct. It might only be on the A side, or it might only be on the B side, but I need to check that connection because every one of these now needs to understand a complete line to every other one. Now it was checking 329,000 map points to do that. And in the current grid setup, I currently don't have things connected quite properly, but they're working well enough for appearances. And so I know it's a triangle, which means every single one of these only has 2 possible connections. And since I'm only doing one-way connections on the paths, each one of these checks through 329,000 records is only pulling back 1 reference. That's it. So it's looking and checking the memory state of 300,000 points, of 300,000 vectors, and loading that into memory to do its comparison. So that is a horrible return on investment. 1 piece of data for every 329,000 items checked. So what I did instead is I cut that out so it's no longer running its connections at this point where it's when it's with the specific node, because it has to look that up from the list and grab whatever. Instead, as soon as I'm done creating the nodes, I skip that part and I'm now going on down to the mapping ones. And now I go through all the maps, because map A and map B, they're the same size. It is literally the same. No, it's not the same map, but anyway. So now that we have map A and map B, we have all those connections called out. I'm just going through each one of these, and for every one of these, I know that there is a real piece of data on the other side. And so I just go grab that one node, or those 2 nodes, node A and node B, and I set up their connections. And that, because of the way that this is done, every single data that I'm going in where I'm jumping to another piece of memory, it's 100% needed. It doesn't have to go through any extra memory. And it was literally that big of a performance expense to go through each array, where basically for each array, I'm doing it, it wasn't twice, but I'm going through the array and checking every single item. That was a lot more expensive in time processing than I thought it was going to be. Okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah. I did 30 minutes down to 0.1 seconds. That's better than I did with the physics engine in the first place. I do miss that dialogue window already for the old days. Do a sleep for 1 second just so it shows it. That way it'll feel like it's doing something. When it happened and it came back with 0.1 seconds, I just initially assumed like, okay, wow, this is amazing. Wait, that can't be real. It's real. It works. I could almost run this in real time now. I could have that execute live when the game starts, and the way the performance is set up, it should actually generate it very, very quickly. Then I don't need to load it from any of the other stuff. Wow. Okay. Oh my God. Before I have some horrible machine crash or something, git add dot Git commit. What did I just do? Binary speed boost complete. What is the difference on that? I just want to get a measurement of how many multiples faster that is. On the physics, when I was doing the AGR physics system, I got a 50x performance improvement over using the NVIDIA stuff, the PhysX. But that was also, their system is not designed for dealing with AGR well. Okay, so inside of this one, we're going to clear that one out, and we're looking for 30 times 60. 60. Okay, so 1800, and then divided by 0.1, 18,000x increase. Oh, 0.01, 180,000x increase in performance. Okay, I'm happy with that performance boost, but wow, that was an amazing difference. Okay, holy crap. Where is my terminal? 180,000x performance improvement. What? Oh, dash M. Git push. What did I write? Oh, yeah, I've got a new setup on here, so I'm not on the head commit anymore. Now I'll use a tool for it. Where did you go? Hey, I still have it? No, I don't have it open. Okay, so there should be nothing, but it's waiting to commit at the moment. No, it didn't like my commit. So I'm waiting for it to show the changes in here. Okay, good. That's what it's doing. Okay, update branch. This one is 180,000x performance improvement. All right, I feel like I should make a video on that one. Like, this is already a video, but it's streamed and it's collected with a whole bunch of extra stuff. So I think I'll make a separate one to push that one out. Let's see, 180x performance improvement. Saving / mapping complete for now. I haven't tested this at runtime. I haven't tested to make sure that it loads the data at runtime properly. However, I am no longer saving it to a separate binary file, but it is still in the asset that is part of the scriptable asset data that is part of what's going to get pushed out anyway. So I have 100% confidence that that part's going to work. Okay, so commit this. And then publish branch so I can merge it. Why is that part taking so long? That's because I'm not on the top one and everything's running off the file system? Seems odd. Okay, publish branch. Cannot publish a detached branch on head. How do I do this? I know what I do. I just take the file that I just changed, history. This will be something I do tomorrow. I'm just going to grab this file. I'm running into issues with Git. I'm running into issues with Git that I am not an expert enough on Git. Like using it from the console felt impressive to me when I first started doing it because I've been using this for well over a decade. And every time I saw someone doing that, it always looked impressive because I'm like, I don't know what you're doing. But all I'm really doing is just those three basic commands. I do the get, I'm also wiring up what folder it connects to as a remote repository. Um, but as soon as I run into a merge issue, I'm back to the tools. Cannot publish a detached head. Oh, wait, branch, duh, right here, new branch. Okay, in this one, temp branch, create. And then I want to merge it back. Why does that take so long? Hmm. Yeah, I don't know why. Okay, good. We got those ones. These two are waiting to go in. What? Wait, did it get both changes? This is weird. Okay, it just didn't gather the lines. That's all. All right, whatever the case. We're in a new branch, publish. And now I want to bring the branch back down. I want to merge it back into main. 180,000. I guess this is also a way to I'm celebrating this like, oh wow, look how amazing I got this in. This is awesome. I'm really proud of my work. 180,000x improvement over what the code I built did before. For all I know, I may have even called out like this might be a performance issue when I was writing that piece. I suppose I can actually look it up since I'm recording all of the development of it. Okay. I'm in that one, fetch LAN, and now I want to choose a branch to merge that into, which is main. Create a merge commit. And all the changes for conflicted files, do not use the file. Do not include this file on main. Sure, I don't care. Even if I have to rebuild the data, I don't care about these ones. I'm always get a little bit confused when I'm reading these ones. Use the modified one from temp branch. Yes. Let's go back to undo. Use the modified one from temp branch. Yes. Use the modified one from temp branch. Use the modified one from temp branch. Continue merge. What is that symbol? Looks like a crazy laugh of some type. It shows up in a very tiny square font on mine, a tiny square or font on mine. View. Push. All right. Go back to main. Okay. Now in main, go back up. No. It doesn't have the change. Where did the change go? Do I have the latest? This is where I find out that when you're running purely off a local file system, that it doesn't do branching. That's part of server setup. I don't think that's the case though. History. My 180x improvement is not here. Temp branch, go back into there. So I checked it out. 180x merged main into temp branch. Oh, duh, yes. Okay. Changes on this side. Pull request. Just push the changes. So branch, how can I just push the changes? Update from main, compare, merge into the current branch. Sure. Preview pull request. It's not going to be able to do that. This is what I haven't done. So preview pull request. Oh, perfect. Okay. Yes. Into main from temp branch. Yes. Okay. No, I know there's nothing on GitHub. Stop showing me GitHub. Oh, yeah, but it's GitHub. This is GitHub desktop. That's why. I need to look up the commands for that, but whatever. I've got them saved at least to the local folder. Okay. All right. I'm going to sign out. I will talk to you all later. All right. Bye.